Good morning, everyone. Half Full Monty here on a cold day in North Texas. It's getting down below freezing during the night. Hopefully, we won't have much more of this. If you're from the Fort Worth area, North Texas, you know that this time of year is the Fort Worth. Used to be the Fort Worth Stock Show. Now it's the Fort Worth Stock Show Rodeo. Had to take the fat part out. But anyway, during that time of year, we always get the worst part of the winter weather. So today, I'm just going to talk about some of the things, update y'all what's going on. Before I told you I got the big axe from the International Axe Throwing Federation store and cut it down. What I've been doing in the past is I've been using files and stuff to reprofile the heads and refurbish them and stuff. And I'm getting too old and too at times it takes a lot of time with a file to bring something down to that. So I broke down, and because I already had a bunch, I have about 4 or 5 of these batteries that go to these. Went down to my local Harbor Freight and got this lithium brushless, what they're calling this, it's an angle grinder. Anyway, it's a grinder. And it's like 30, I think it was like 35 bucks, 39 bucks. And I already had the batteries. The batteries are kind of, and I know these people make some inexpensive tools and stuff, but my point in my life right now, I'm trying to get rid of stuff. I'm not trying to accumulate more stuff. And so that's why I haven't bought one before. And it just saves time and everything. So anyway, I got the angle grinder, and of course, this one here came with a 26-inch handle. It was painted, and so I cut it down to regulation for the axe throwing venue, World Axe Throwing League that I do, which is 23. So it's like 23 and a quarter, a half, something like that. I cleaned the paint and the varnish off of it. I sanded it, and then I steel wooled it, and I put my linseed oil solution stuff on it. Then on the head, it was already pretty well profiled. And of course, I could do a little bit more on that, but anyway, what I did is I ground off of the end here, and like I said, it came at 3 pounds 5 ounces, and you want to get them as light as possible, especially a big one like this when you're throwing it one hand and you're old and weak like me. But anyway, so that's why I cut it. It was 26 inches long, and it weighed 3 pounds 5 ounces. So cutting off the end and getting the varnish and paint and stuff off of it brought it down to 3 pounds a little bit over 3 ounces. And so I ground on the pole on this, and now it's down to 3 pounds 1 ounce. And so anyway, we'll leave a little cheat room there, because the profile will get thinner as I sharpen it over time, what have you. But anyway, so that's what I did to the big axe that I throw in league. And then this hatchet here that I made my everyday thrower, I wanted to get it a little bit wider. I did trim just a little bit off because I like at least 17 inch in a hatchet, throwing hatchet. This one here, I had two of them. They're called the Lieutenant, which we talked about before. This one here was my first one, and it's lighter than this one. But I was using this thing in what they call duels, and where you're throwing it, it's like synchronized axe throwing, but you hit each other's axes a lot, and I've chipped the handle all up every time I do it, and it's got thinner and thinner as I go back and take the chunks out of it. And the blade on it, I have done some damage to it, and this last time it kind of broke the tip of it off right there, so I had to do some work on that. This one here is what the normal bit on that one at one time looked like before I started hitting, messing it up a little bit. But anyway, so for some reason, this second one, Lieutenant, that I bought, second Lieutenant, that sounds pretty cool, huh? Was always weighed a little bit more than this one. So I haven't really done anything to that except for take the nicks and burrs and chunks and smooth them out on this one, because that's going to be that's my dual axe. This one here, I don't know if you can see. Like I said, I never understood why there'd be so much difference in weight. The heads are almost exactly the same, I think. Anyway, but you can see on this one right here, on the pole there, that I ground it down to get the weight down to where it's below. It's like a pound, 13, 14 ounces. This one here, I haven't really done anything to. It was always like a pound, 13. But that seems to be a pretty good weight for me to throw. Anyway, having said that, I know that this handle here is going to get split sooner or later. I've still got 6 more dual throwing events with it, and so I busted out and I tried to get a replacement handle. Wattle, the World Axe Throwing League, sells replacement handles for their axes, but this one here came with originally an 18-inch handle, hickory, and anyway, this one here is cut to 17 or maybe a hair over 17 inches. Anyway, so I was looking for a replacement handle, and there's like come in at 14, 15. Anyway, they're all too short. And also the head design, anyway, they don't offer one for this. I try to email them, and that's the problem with these outfits. They don't have any contact. Now, I guess in the long run, that's cheaper for them because they don't have to deal with anybody. But try to get them a question like, "Do you make one for this one?" But I guess I could have bought one if I could find one of them that was 18 inches, or I could cut it and make it the right length and everything, and not be too short. And the handle length, for those that don't know, makes a lot of difference on how far you need to be away from your target to throw to get the rotations to make it stick correctly. And so in my case, you know, the shorter the handle, the closer you have to get up. So if I get down like 14, 15, 14 inch handles and stuff, man, I'm up there like 8 feet. And in league and stuff, they start throwing at 12 feet. So anyhow, long story, but so they really didn't have anything. Their handles are about, go from, I think around $25, $29 or something. They're Canadian, so you have to pay to ship. I think I had a coupon and stuff. And so, you know, you're talking $30+ and still not really having the length or anything. So I looked on a place called Whiskey River Trading, and I bought several handles in the past. They make premium handles. I think they're in Michigan, but they use I guess Tennessee hickory or whatever and make these handles. So I ordered one, the closest one I could find to fit this thing, and I think it's going to work out just great. Not going to do a whole bunch to it. It's 19 inches. It's beautiful. It feels great. See how it's strong but still thin. It's got a curve and a knob on it. I don't know if I'll be able to use the knob with throwing hanging my hand a little bit. I don't really think so. I've got another one over there that's has a shorter handle on it that had a knob that I didn't have any problems with. But anyway, when I put this handle in here, seeing how it's 19 and I want about 17 and a half, I'm going to, of course, what you want to do when you put these handles on, I mean, I'm not a pro at this, but I've done it. This is probably about my 4th or 5th one. Anyway, your head goes on here, and you want it to come down, and it gets wider right in here. So you kind of got a lump, like an ankle looking thing right there. Well, you want your head to come down there and set on that. That way, when it settles, or if you have any end hits or either end hits, it has a stop on it. And if you don't, and I think that might be a problem that Wattle has with their axes. I've heard of some people that, not necessarily people throwing in axe venues, but people like throwing out in their backyards for distance, multiple rotations and stuff. On theirs, the handle. Hang on one moment, please. Oh, okay, there you go. Or my dogs, they like to disturb me when I'm doing this stuff. But anyway, you want it to come down, and they don't come down quite enough where it's like it's still flat there. So what happens is it hits in there, there's nothing to hold it, and it slides down on your handle. The wood will start curling up here, and you see how this one is barely sticking up right here. That's it working down on the handle, which is not awful, but it could make it get loose and wiggle around and cause you to have some issues. So anyway, I've got this one that will eventually go on this head right here, and like I said, I'm gonna try to mount it. I think it'll fit right in there, and it'll, when it goes through the axe, they call that mounting one proud. It's proud because it's standing up there, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so something like that. Well, it doesn't look, it's hard to make it look. But anyway, it'll stick out the top a little bit. And even then, if it still comes out too long, I can always after I mount it, whack it off, you know, and shape it a little bit down there. But you don't want to cut the end off. If you notice how they make them where it's flat right here and right here, that's for when you mount your head on them. You put your head on and you either hit it this way or you hit it down on that surface right there that's flat, and knock your head down in, and then you put your wedge in. Axe throwers usually do this kind of a wedge, and they also use what they call a barrel wedge. Some people even use their shell casings. You know, this one here probably be about like a 32 caliber shell casing you would want to use. Anyway, you put that in there like these things. I don't necessarily know if you need two of them in that small of an area, but what these do is your original one presses out this, you know, presses out this way against the side of the axe head, and these barrel wedges push them out supposedly in a circular fashion, so you're going to get more push on there to hold it in better. But I've been told that you don't really need those for normal chopping, but like with axe throwing, I think they say it helps, or some people say it does. But anyway, like I was saying, on the bottom, you've got, we were talking about grain run out. That's what they talk about handles. You see the grain here. And then you follow the grain up your handle, and that's how you can tell by the run out on it if it could have a crack. So if that grain orientation was like this, and then it went like over to the side, well, you know, if you hit it on the end, that whole part might fall off, or it will crack up the grain. It goes with the grain. The cracks go with the grain, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, as you can see, this is a pretty, they call this, what are they calling it? They're calling it Whiskey River Premium Heritage 19 8C handle grade A. So that'll be a good one. It sure is pretty. And then they cut this for you, and you can see it's a nice cut. It's pretty, it's clean, it's fairly wide. It's halfway down, and like I was saying, if I mounted my head on there about like so, all right, that's going to come down about 3/4 in the head, which is just about right. And then you're going to drive this sucker in here, and you know, if you get it down there to that level right there, that's kind of what I'm shooting for with this. But this one's been pretty good to me. Of course, I'll clean up the head on it, and profile the thing on it there, the blade. But yeah, I don't know yet whether I'll char it. These Whiskey River handles, when I've charred them, they've come through really nicely, to where the wattle ones, when I did those, it kind of, the grain on it kind of, I don't know, it just made the, I don't know if you can see that, but you can hang your nails on it where the grain is. It's exposed the grain, and after I've sanded it back down, there's like a big chunk from the last weekend. There was a big chunk out right there that I smoothed over, and I of course had big chunks here not taken out from throwing. But I don't like it. I think it makes the wood break easier. I'll show you another Whiskey River handle that I charred. So this was the first one that I did, and it's a Whiskey River handle. And it was the first one I actually did, and I put a what they call a Purple Heart wedge and a barrel wedge. Actually threw this a couple times in the backyard. It's pretty heavy, but it is 23 inches, and yeah, it's pretty heavy. But anyway, you can see the grain and I did lightly char this one. It's my first try, okay. And so then, let's see here. My next one was this plum I did. This is also a Whiskey River handle. And it feels good. And you see how I redid the end, where they all usually come with a, see how that end looks. I think this one here came with like a big old thing on the end. But you can see the grain orientation. Then anyway, I charred this one, and you see how smooth it is. You know, the grain on it is not like sticking out like it's really hard to see if I can get this thing to focus. But I don't know if that was me or the wood that did that. But anyway, then there's that one. This one here is not a Whiskey River handle, but and it feels good. I've thrown this a bunch in the backyard. The profile on it is a little bit too thick for the axe venue, and the handle's pretty short. Yeah, it's 15 and a half. So yeah, I have to hold it, you know, on the very end when I throw it. But this is an old Plum Victory. But that thing's smooth, it feels good. Anyway, that's what I'm shooting for, is a feel like that. And there's no, this is like just wood with that linseed oil concoction. Of course, I do sand it, and I steel wool it. And I think the steel wooling makes it really smooth too. So anyway, that's my future handle that I got. That's gonna go in that one. And then of course there's this Miller Falls, Miller Falls axe that this handle is not one of theirs. It's not Whiskey River, but some of these other handle companies, it takes them a while to get to it because they're, a couple people working there. I don't know what Whiskey River's got going, but they're usually pretty timely. You order it, you're going to get it in a week. You get a lot of good communication from them. And they are quality. I mean, quality handles. Now, this one here is the one I've been working on and off on. I profiled the blade here where I could make a thrower out of it. It's actually a carpenter's hammer, kind of like this one. But you see how this one's got this part right here, and this one doesn't. They're pretty much the same length, the same blade. Most of these throwing axes, hatchets, are 4-inch across here is the maximum that you can have on a hatchet. A big axe, it gets a little bit longer, but anyway, it's 4 inches and they want as much as they can get because you're trying to hit a little bullseye that's about, I don't know, in some cases it's the size of a nickel maybe, but anyway, and so that's why they want it a little as long as they can get it. So this one here is about 3.5 across here, maybe 3 3/4. It's not a full 4 inches, so there's that, but it's really light. Anyway, I'm gonna put it on this handle right here. I've been kind of fooling around with it. It's probably not going to end up looking like that. I still need to have it come down a little bit more here. And then I want to thin this part out where it's more I don't really want to take it off this way, but maybe some this way. And I might have to sand that thing off. Cut it off a little bit. It is a full 18 inches long. So I got about 1 inch I can whack off of it. And once again, when I do mount it, it'll be sticking out, but it'll be sticking out just a little bit right here. So, I could take, that much more off the bottom. But anyway, that's what I got going on this. And I'll probably polish some more on it. I got some more sandpaper coming in. You want to go, get as much of the scratching stuff out. And believe it or not, the scratches on here didn't come from using that grinder. Those are there for me using a file. But I'm going to try to get the rest of that out. I also thought about doing this, kind of making a tomahawk out of it. Will look better. I don't think I could get that little indentation out. It's a nail puller because it is a carpenter's hatchet. But I have thought about, now that I got the angle grinder, is cut this across to right there. Kind of what they call a beard. This part right here would be gone. Yeah, right there. And then I also thought about whacking that back off right there, or it would look something like that, kind of like a tomahawk. Anyway, it'd be really light, because it's already light to start with. But anyway, that's what's going on with all those on this cold morning in North Texas, and I hope all you guys stay safe. I want to thank everyone for all the views and the new subscribers. Welcome. Please share, like, subscribe, and like I said, try to stay warm, and I guess if you get cold, go out there and chop you some wood for your fireplace. Hat full, Monty out.